Assalamualaikum everyone, we are from RBA2424B and today we would like to explain about the signal of buying and selling of the stock based on the last day of trading, which is on 31st December 2020. So I will begin with the introduction of my team members. First, my name is Siti Nur Aliah binti Alias.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nur Diyana binti Samsudin.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nur Hazwanie binti Harun from RBA2424B.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Izzah Ayuni binti Hasmazi.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Anis Atikah binti Hamidun.
My name is Maisarah binti Hazrul Aizi.
Alright, these are the 5 stocks that our group chose for the analysis of the last day of trading on 31st December 2020. The first one is M-Bank Holding Berhad, which is under financial service sector. The second one is Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad, which is fall under consumer product and service. Next, the third one is AT Systemization Berhad under industrial product and service sector. Next one is NetX Holding Berhad, which is fall under technology sector, and the last one is Nova Wellness Group Berhad. It is under the healthcare sector. Okay, now let's us move on to the explanation of this stock.
So we would begin with the first stock, which is M-Bank Holding Berhad. We choose 5 indicators to analyze the stock's chart in order to determine the signal of buy or sell stocks. Firstly, moving average. Secondly, relative strength index. Thirdly, rate of change. Fourthly, stochastic. And lastly is moving average convergence divergence. So each of the 5 indicators give the different interpretation. So let's begin.
A moving average is a very popular stock indicator in technical analysis. The purpose of generating a stock's moving average is to smooth out price data by establishing a continually updated average price. Because a moving average is essentially a lagging indicator, it is one of the most often used technique in technical analysis. From the graph in M-Bank stock, because of the moving average line is below than the stock price line, it is advisable for the investor to sell their stock. If they have held some stock before, it will be the perfect day to sell back as they can gain profit based on the moving average indicator. Selling is the best option for investor on 31st December 2020. Alright, next, Nur Diyana will explain more about the indicator of the M-Bank stock.
Secondly, relative strength index. As you can see, this is the M-Bank Holding Berhad's chart in 1 year time frame. As can be seen, the graph shows the trend of the M-Bank Holding Berhad using RSI indicators. So according to the figure, they are the bear market period to the end of the year. As can be seen at the right, graph shows that the 2 points of the oscillator's chart where the line is descending, which is the red line. This means RSI indicators provides the signals that there will bearish in price momentum at the end of December 2020. So, at the point of 31st December 2020, where the price at 3 ringgit and 65 cents, it shows that the signal that the investor should sell their stocks, otherwise they could stock with losses. It is because there is the hint that upward momentum is going to slowing down and a downward of the price move could be coming soon. So, when the RSI line approach the overbought level, which is above 70%, the uptrend is usually coming to a conclusion. And thirdly is indicator of rate of change. As I attach the graph, you can see that there is the trend of the M-Bank Holding Berhad using ROC with the 1 year time frame of the year 2020. it shows in the bullish trend when it comes to the end of the year. So, as can be seen, the signal line falling off in 31st December 2020, providing a chance for investors to make short selling at these significant price movements. And soon, the investor could cover by buying at lower price. As at the point of 31st December 2020, it indicates slowing momentum and it shows the potential will change in trend as the RSI line shows the hint going downwards momentum till passing below the zero line. So at the time, investors should sell their stocks amounting 3 ringgit and 65 cents, otherwise they will bear the losses. Therefore, this indicator could provide a heads up on a trend reversal where we can know when it is a good time to purchase or sell the stocks. Next indicator that I use is stochastic. This indicator used to assess the momentum or the trend of the stock market. It also helps to identify stocks either is overvalued or undervalued in order to make decision to buy or sell stocks. So, this is the trend of the unbanked holding Berhad's chart. According to the diagram, there are two horizontal lines oscillate between two moving lines. So, as can be seen at the point of 31st December 2020 shows that the stochastic indicator points down, which it goes from the overbought area at early of December to the oversold zone at the end of the December. However, at the same time, you can see that the signal, which is the blue line, falls below the red line. It means that the price going to change in downtrend movement. At the time, the investor should sell the stocks in the short position, yet they can cover back by buying the stocks at low price as the price are going to slowing down in the next year. And lastly is moving average convergence divergence MACD, where there is the two exponential moving average is used to determine the momentum of stocks. As at the below of the graph, there are the blue line and red line. It represents MACD and signal line respectively. So according to the chart, as at 31st December of 2020, the MACD line, which is the blue line, crossed from the above to below the signal line, which means that the indicator is considered bearish. And there is the oscillator, also known as the zero line, which can be seen at the MACD and signal line passing by below the zero line. So, at the times in 31st December, it shows the signals of downtrend and becomes less negative. Therefore, the zero value on the histogram indicates a crossing over of the two moving average lines that give selling signal to the investors. So, as the result, investors should sell the stocks at 31st December, amounting 3 ringgit and 65 cents, as soon as the price will going to slower down in the trend. Hence, the stocks were off the market and it will continue to decline in price movement in the next month of 2021. So, the investor could cover buying at low price soon.
Next, we will move on to the 2.2, which is Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad. I will explain about the analysis on the last trading, 31st December 2020 for Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad by using several indicators including moving average triple, relative strength index, rate of change, stochastic and moving average conversion divergence.
Alright, the first indicator that we choose for Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad is moving average triple. The moving average triple indicator, which consists of blue, red, and yellow lines, can be seen in the diagram that I attached. When the yellow line is above the red and blue lines, the stock is considered as a short-term stock. But when the yellow line is below the blue and red lines, the stock is classified as long-term stock. So that, based on the chart that I attached, Ocean Cash stock is a short-term stock because the yellow line is above the blue and red lines. When the blue and the red line cross each other, it is the best time for the investor to purchase or sell this company's stock. However, if the three lines cross at the same time, the timing will be perfect to buy or sell the stock. As we can see, on 31st December 2020, the lines in the diagram do not cross. So that it is indicating that it is not the ideal time for the investor to buy or sell the stock at the moment. The investor need to stay out of the market first. Alright, now Nur Hazwanie will explain the rest of the indicators of the Ocean Cash Company.
Next, I will explain about the Relative Strength Index. Relative Strength Index is the second indicator that we choose for the Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad. In the Relative Strength Index, if the RSI line crosses over the oversold line, which is more than 30, it is considered as the buying signal for the investors. If the RSI line goes above the overbought line, which is at 70, it represents a selling signal. According to the diagram, there is no buying or selling signal on 31st December 2020 because the RSI line does not surpass 30 or 70 on that day. However, if the investors still want to buy Ocean Cash stock, they can wait a few days because the RSI line seems to cross into the oversold area which exceeds 30 at the beginning of January as shown in the diagram. For this slide, I will elaborate more about the rate of change ROC. The third indicator that we choose for the Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad is the rate of change ROC. The ROC can be determined by observing whether the ROC line is above or below zero. If the ROC line is below zero, it shows as the buying signal for the investors. And if the ROC line is above zero, it indicates as the selling signal for the investor. Based on the diagram, on 31st December 2020, the ROC line was below zero at negative 8.3490. So this is a great time for investors to buy Ocean Cash stocks because the price is likely to rise again in January. After purchasing the stocks, the investor can hold Ocean Cash stock for a few days or a week so that they can enjoy the profit from their investment. In this slide, I will explain about the stochastic indicator. The fourth indicator that we choose for the Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad is the stochastic. In the stochastic indicator, the higher and lower limits are 80 and 20 respectively. When the D% and K% line is below the lower limit, it is considered opposite, and when both lines are above the higher limit, it is considered as the overbought. If the investor wants to acquire the stock, they must make sure the line is less than 20 and they must sell it when the line reaches 80 or more. As we can see in the diagram on 31st December 2020, the investor should not buy or sell the stock in order to avoid analysis. But the investor is advisable to buy the stocks after 31st December 2020. The investor needs to monitor closely the chart pattern in order to make sure that they do not miss the chance to buy the Ocean Cash stocks because it shows that the D% and K% line are below 20 after a few days. Lastly, I will discuss about the final part of this slide. Moving Average Convergence Divergence (MACD) is the last indicator that we choose for Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad. There are two types of line, which are the blue line and the red line in the MACD indicator. The red line is referred as the signal line, while the blue line is known as the MACD line. The buying or selling signal can be identified if both lines cross each other. But before that, the MACD line must be below the signal line. From the diagram, we can see that on 31st December 2020, both lines do not cross each other, but the blue line, which represents the MACD line, appears to be below the signal line. At this point, there is no buying and selling signal for the investors. However, if the investors still want to buy the Ocean Cash stocks, then they should wait until the beginning of January because there is a buying signal as seen in the diagram. That's all for the Ocean Cash Pacific Berhad. Now, let's move to the next presenter.
Thank you, presenter, for explanation. I will continue explaining about analysis of the last day of trading for 80 systematizations Berhad using another 4 indicators.
Alright, I will explain the first one. Based on the diagram that I attached, it shows that relative strength index for 80 systemization Berhad. The RSI indicator can assist in determining where a stock has experienced more buying or selling pressure during a trading period. For a purchasing signal, the RSI line must be below than 30 and then cross over the oversold line, where for a selling signal, the RSI line must be over than 70 and then cross below than overbought line. According to the graph that I attached, on 31st December 2020, the RSI line does not go up or down between 30 and 17. As a result, it indicates that no selling or buying signal are present on that specific day. It is advisable that investors stay out of the market until a selling or buying signal arises in the future. So, Nurul Izzah will explain the rest of the indicators of this company.
Next, using ROC, the rate of change indicator in the diagram shows the ROC line is increasing, which is above 0. It is also shows an uptrend graph. On the other hand, a decreasing ROC line below 0 usually verifies a downtrend graph. According to the graph above, the price was above 0 on 31 December 2020, indicating that it had risen in price. On that day, the investor should sell the stock since the trend is expected to be downward sloping and the market will be bearish. In addition, because there is a probability of bearish market in January, investor can return to the market and buy at a lower price. After that, moving average triple. Moving average are one of the most common technical indicators for measuring market activity. In the graph above, the moving average triple indicator is applied. The triple moving average method involves calculating 3 different moving average to obtain buy and sell recommendations. This moving average approach is better than the dual moving average crossover system at handling misleading trade signals. Using 3 moving average with different look-back periods, the trader may determine if the market has truly experienced a trend change or whether it is simply resting before returning to its old positions. According to the graph above, on 31 December 2020, the blue and red lines are below the yellow lines, indicating that there is no purchasing signal on that day because there is no cross between blue and red lines. Staying out of the market is advised for investor. Next, using stochastic. A stochastic oscillator is a popular technical indicator for spotting overbought and oversold conditions in the market. The blue line is the K line, which is the fast, more sensitive indicator, and the red line is the D line, which is slow, take time to turn. According to the graph above, on 31 December 2020, there is no signal for oversold or overbought stock since the line is not below 20 and not above 80. It is also signifies that the stock market is not moving at a high rate on that particular day, and investors are advised to avoid it. Lastly, MACD, which is Moving Average Convergence. MACD is a commonly used and popular technical analysis indicator. It is used to show the trend as well as the momentum of stocks. The 3 most important elements are the MACD lines, which is the blue one, the signal lines, the red one, and the MACD histogram. For the buying signals, the MACD lines must cross over the signal line and the MACD histogram must drop down below 0, while for the selling signal, the MACD line must cross below the signal line and the MACD histogram must turn up above 0. As shown in the graph, the MACD line does not cross the signal line above or below on December 31, 2020. On that specific day, there is no buying or selling signal, which is investor would be better to stay out of the market. I think that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Izzah. Now, let's take a move for the NetX Holdings Berhad. For NetX Holdings Berhad, I choose 5 indicators in order to determine the buying or selling signal on 31st December 2020. The 5 indicators are Moving Average MA, Relative Strength Index RSI, Moving Average Convergence Divergence MACD, Rate of Change ROC, and last but not least is Stochastic. For the first indicator, Alias will take over to explain regarding the signal to sell or to buy for moving average on 31st December 2020.
Alright, this graph is despite the price trend movement of the company using the moving average indicators. When the price is above the moving average line, it is represent an uplifting signal, which is also known as a selling signal. And when the price is below the moving average line, it represent a downtrend signal, which is also known as a buying signal. As we can see from the chart that I attached, the price for the 31st of December 2020 is lower than moving average line. As a result, the investors are advisable to purchase the stock at the moment while the price is low. So, Anis Atikah will explain the rest of the indicator of the company.
Next is signal to buy or to sell for Relative Strength Index RSI on 31st December 2020. The Relative Strength Index RSI of NetX Holdings Berhad stock price is seen in the graph above. When the RSI line is above 70% line, it means the stock is overbought and investor should buy the stock at that time. While when the RSI line is below 30% line, it means that the stock is oversold and investors are suggested to sell the stock at that time. According to the chart above, the RSI line for the NetX Holdings Berhad is in the 40 to 50% zone as of 31st December 2020. As a result, investors should hold the stock until the RSI line falls below or near 30% line before selling it in order to earn the profit. As shown in the graph above, the RSI line almost reached the 30% line in early January 2021. That's why the investors are suggested to hold the stock first. This is because it's allowing investors to benefit if they sell at that moment. Next is signal to buy or sell for moving average convergence divergence MACD on 31st December 2020. The graph above represents the price trend of NetX Holdings Berhad using moving average convergence divergence MACD indicators. For this indicator MACD, when the MACD line, which is the blue one, crossing above 0, it represents the selling signal. While if the MACD line crossing below 0, it indicates the buying signal. Besides, the red line in the graph above refers to the signal line. As we can see from the graph attached above, On 31st December 2020, the blue line, which indicates the MACD line, is crossed below the signal line, which is the red line. Thus, this indicates the selling signal, which the investor are highly recommended to sell the stock at that time in order to earn the profit. Moreover, the diagram above is the signal to buy or sell for rate of change ROC on 31st December 2020. The rate of change ROC trend of NextX Holdings Berhad's stock is seen in the graph above. The rate of change ROC indicator is dictated by partitioning the value of change during a characterized time span by the end of the course toward the start of the period. When the ROC line is above 0, it indicates that there is an upward trend and selling signal, while when the ROC line is below 0, it means that there is a downward trend where it shows the signal to buy the stock. As we can see from the graph above, as of 31st December 2020, the rate of change ROC line is below 0. Therefore, it means that the investor is recommended to buy the stock considering the price is falling. Last but not least, the diagram above is the signal to buy or sell the stock for stochastic on 31st December 2020. The chart above represents the price trend of NextX Holdings Berhad using stochastic indicators. These stochastic indicators aid in monitoring the durability of a trend and signaling the price reversals. It is available in two forms, which are the percentage K and the percentage D. Besides, percentage K refers to the rapid and sensitive indicators, whereas the percentage D is low and takes longer to turn. The support line in the stochastic indicators is begin at 20 and conclude at 80. According to the graph above, as of 31st December 2020, it can be seen that the blue line is above the red line, indicating the selling signals since the crossing line position below 20 indicates oversold. As a result, investors are advised to sell the stock without keeping it for an extended period of time, since it is the perfect time to sell the stock in order to earn the profit. Overall, the signal for moving average is to buy the stock. The signal for RSI is to hold the stock. The signal for moving average convergence divergence MACD is to sell the stock. The signal for rate of change ROC is to buy the stock. And last but not least, in the same matter for the stochastic, the signal is to sell the stock. That's all for the NextX Holdings Berhad.
I am Maisarah binti Hazrul Aizi, and I will be presenting about Nova Wellness Group Berhad and the indicators I used to find a buying or selling signal on the 31st of December 2020.
Alright, I will explain the first one. The first indicator that we choose for Nova Wellness is Relative Strength Index or RSI. In the Relative Strength Index, it is a buying signal when the RSI is below than 30 and move up to cross the oversold line because the prices are low and are expected to rise in the near future. When it is a selling signal, the RSI is above 70 and then it can move down to the cross the overbought line because the prices are at the highest and are anticipated to fall. So that, according to the theory, From the chart that I attached, on 31st December 2020, the RSI is not below 30 or above 70. So that it shows that there is no buying or selling signal on that particular day. It is advisable for investors to hold their stock until a buying signal is detected in the future. Alright, next, Maisarah will explain the rest of the Nova Wellness indicator.
The second indicator that we chose for Nova Wellness is ROC, which is short form for rate of change. It is an oscillator that fluctuates above and below the zero line. And when prices increase, ROC will move up. And when prices fall, ROC falls too. The greater the change in price, the greater the change in ROC. This indicator can be used by examining positive and negative divergence. And to detect a buy signal, we can see when the value of ROC is less than 0 and vice versa for a selling signal. So based on the chart, the ROC value is less than 0, which means it is an indicator for investors to buy as the share price of Nova Wellness is going to increase in the future. The third indicator that we chose for Nova Wellness is Moving Average Convergence Divergence, or also known as MACD. It is among the most well-known indicators used in technical analysis. MACD is utilized to identify both trend and momentum of a security. So MACD is an indicator that follows trend that shows the relationships of two moving averages prices. This indicator consists of two exponential moving averages which cover two time periods. Basically, MACD is a difference between two moving averages which are generally a 12-period and a 26-period EMA. To find a buying signal, investors must find a point where the MACD or the blue line crosses above the signal line or the red line. As we can see on the chart attached, both lines are not crossing each other, so there is no buying or selling signal on the 31st of December 2020. However, investors can hold or wait until a point of time when the blue line crosses above the red line to buy. The fourth indicator that we chose for Nova Wellness is stochastic. The stochastic is an indicator that compares the closing price with the price range for a given period. Stochastic is used to monitor a trend's sustainability and signal reversals in prices. In stochastic, when the K line is above the D line in the oversold range, it shows a buying signal. Meanwhile, when the K line is below the D line in the overbought range, it indicates a selling signal to investors. So according to the chart, on the 31st of December, the K line is above the D line in the oversold range. Hence, investors should buy so they can make profit by selling when the prices is higher in the future. And last but not least, the last indicator we chose for Nova Wellness is Williams R. Williams R is an indicator that measures the overbought and oversold levels. It does that by comparing a security's closing price to the high-low range over a period of time, which is usually about 14 days. When Williams R is below oversold line and rises to cross over the negative 80 line, it shows a buying signal. For a selling signal, the Williams R will be above overbought line and goes under the negative 20 line. So from the chart attached, on 31st December 2020, the indicator is just slightly above the oversold line. So it is advisable for investors to stay out of the market until it goes under oversold line and cross over it to buy at a cheaper price. That way, they can make profit as the anticipated prices will rise and they can sell once the indicator hits above the overbought line. That is all from Group 6. Thank you very much for your time.